Hello, 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 and good evening. I am Rebecca Nichols, and this is my podcast, Royal Treats. Thank you so much for being here. It is a wonderful evening here in London town. It's a bit cold outside, if I'm being honest. But am I complaining? Hell no. I think it's when we are in a constant state of complaining, we fail to appreciate what is and what isn't. And I've really got into a state of, as I've got older, dare I say maybe more mature, that I've started to really appreciate each season, what it brings. I have some lovely views from where I am, and I really do start to, I wouldn't say I start to appreciate them now, but I've been appreciate them for a while actually. And one of them is outside my bedroom window, and often at night I don't even shut the window, the blind. I kind of want to wake up and see nature and see the sky, and I don't know, I always want to feel connected to outside, and something whereas I've reconnected to my divine feminine goddess being Mother Earth on this journey, that I've really started to appreciate nature a lot more, and I actually feel really drawn to being out in nature and connected with nature. And such a beautiful thing, because we are nature and we're all part of nature, and we're a part of this wonderful, beautiful planet. Gosh, just had to get that out there in a bit of a moment. So it's my regular Tuesday, and you've been enjoying my 12 days of podcasting. And actually I did set myself a challenge, didn't I, to be doing that, and it was lovely to share with you, and I hope you enjoyed those podcasts that I've been putting out. And you know, we are already day 9 into the new year. What's been happening? How's it going? How are you feeling? And have you been intention setting, and have you been working on your desires and focusing on your goals and your dreams and making big things happening for you this year? I'm definitely upping it, the ante a bit this year. And why not? We've always got to be looking to evolve, grow, be the best version we can be of ourselves. And so today I'm going to be talking about authenticity and what that means. From my perspective, of course, and from a coach's perspective, from a personal perspective, from a Reiki perspective, all over perspective of what authentic living is all about. So, without further ado, my darlings, let's talk, because authenticity is found in the throat chakra. Really, it's all about self-expression. It's kind of about leading from a place where we can be our authentic selves, and we are accepted in many ways for who we are. And if we're not accepted for who we are, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, I always find your vibe attracts your tribe. And I've learnt that over the past 3 years. There'll be people that just don't get it, don't get you, and that's fine. Don't worry about those people. You know, 7 billion people on this planet, darling. Move on. So I have been reading a lot of Doreen Virtue this week, and I've just started reading Rebecca Campbell's book, Rise, Sister Rise. Wow, amazing. So I'm really looking forward to reading a lot more this year, and I think I've been attuning into a higher space, right? Into a space of I'm here, I'm doing this, this is who I am. It's okay to be me. It's safe to be me. My voice matters. Your voice matters. Our voices matter. And this is perfect because I don't, unless you've been living under a rock, you would know that there's this big, massive, huge movement going on with feminism and equality and women sort of taking back their voices and using their power and claiming their power. And it's a beautiful thing. Everywhere I go, it seems that everyone's a feminist now. Oh, hey, darlings. high five. And it actually doesn't equate to being anti-men, because I have a son and I believe that we all need to be treated equally. But as much as like I need to consider his feelings, he needs to consider mine. And so we are coexisting in this space of accepting I'm a woman and there's things that you can't say to me or do to me, right? Without consent. So when he says to me the other day, actually, why is it called rape? Why is it called rape? And I said, I don't know. They've just called it, that's what it is. He said, why don't they call it sex without consent? I said, that's a good point, son. I don't know. But they've just labelled it rape. That's what it is. And I remember him bringing up this question quite a few times at school, and the teachers being quite dismissive of it, or kind of like being a bit funny about the fact that he was talking about it. And I thought, well, these kids have got questions about this stuff, or they hear this stuff, or they want to know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with actually answering it. I think the more awareness we bring into actually what the world is and what exists in the world, we can't wrap our kids up in cotton wool and pretend that nothing bad ever happens. You've got two types of people who exist in this world. You know, those who are on the fear-based path and those who are on the love-based path. But we're all children of God, no matter what. Some are just very absent from the presence of God, and that's what we need to realise. And I thought, if we're not having these open, honest conversations with our children about what goes on within this world, then how can we prevent some things from maybe even happening to them? Talk to them, like, don't be shy about it. You know, he knows that there's horrible things that exist, and when things that happen to children that are horrible, there's abuse, there's rape, there's things that, like, really we know, and that's not to instill fear in him but just to bring awareness that this stuff happens, and how can we make this stuff stop happening? By using our voice. So this is all about authenticity, just being real, just being open, being honest. I think I've been much more honest in the past year or so than I've been probably my whole entire life. That means I've owned every little part of who I am. That means I've gone into different levels of myself, including shadow self. So you will remember me talking about the throat chakra on the podcast, maybe about a week or so ago, where we were talking about what it is to have a balanced throat chakra. And it really is about communication, speaking your truth. And also, when I was talking about the boundaries, you would know that we were talking about how to engage and disengage appropriately. So knowing when to use your voice there as well, in terms of like what's okay and what's not okay for you. So important, really important, because if we're trying to be super peacekeepers and not use our voice at all, because we don't want to get into conflict, then, we're not present really at all. We're just kind of like, let's keep the peace. Let's just not disturb anyone. Let's not ruffle any feathers. Let's just be hypervigilant about things. It's always a disease to please, so then you don't say anything. So you shut down completely. And I think when we don't use our voices and we don't really say what's on our mind and we're not really honest about how we feel, we're cheating ourselves out of what's possible for our lives. But also we're having this knock-on effect within our own environment, which can be detrimental. I've seen it firsthand within my own relationships and my own dynamics and things that have happened within my life. I've seen it in other people's lives. I've seen it in the people I coach, within their realities. And so it's getting to the heart of really what matters to you. You are here for purpose, and that you really do have something inside you that the world needs. It's magical. And you hide that magic from the world because you're scared of speaking and living your truth. And this could even be something that was occurring for me within my own reality, that I really stepped into a brave space and said, I'm going to share my story with the world. Going against maybe even my mother, who didn't really agree and wasn't willing to support the fact that I was going to share my story because it involved her. And so it was all about how it's going to make her look and how it's going to make her feel. And which I really do get that 100%. And it's something that I really agonized with. But having seen and heard the feedback and witnessed the testimonies within the people that I speak to and the people that I coach and the people that contact me online and through my socials and whatever, and seen how it's made a difference within their lives in a positive way, giving them an opportunity to use their voices and share their stories. And this is exactly what Oprah was saying at the Golden Globes. We're all here sharing our stories, and by sharing our stories, we are reuniting and coming together collectively and realizing that we have more in common than we don't have in common, right? That we all have stories of shame, that we all have stories of struggle, that we all have stories where we feel that we may be judged and that being vulnerable was a bit scary. And I tell you what, it's the most freeing and the most wonderful thing to come out and share your story and get it out in there in the world, and people say, yeah, me too. Me too. You're not alone anymore. And you're not a prisoner anymore of your own mind, and you're not a prisoner in your own, you're just not. You're just free on so many levels. And I can't tell you how amazing it was for me to come out and share the stories that have held me captive for so long. It's these stories of courage that I want to see more of. And since I've been sharing the stories, even the past few days on my social media, it turns out that a couple of women who contact me, I want to share my story. I want to say what happened to me too. I got abused too. I got neglected too. My mum didn't really love me too. So many amazing things have come to light by me sharing my story. And I know if you're listening to this that maybe you have a story too. And that's holding you captive. And it could be keeping you in a place of sickness and disease. Because what you've got to realise is, from an energy perspective, anything inside us that is blocked and the free-flowing energy that exists within us, if anything's blocked, it's causing a problem within us. It's causing an internal problem within us. And so by sharing our stories, by speaking the truth and getting it out there into the world, we are no longer prisoners within our own bodies. We are free on so many different levels. We are free to be who we want to be, with no shame, with no guilt, with no judgment. So be authentic, and even if that scares you a little bit because you feel that you'll be judged, be authentic anyway, because the world needs you to be that person, and you really need to be that person for yourself. This is your life journey. It's no one else's. And so it depends on how you really want to live it. I mean, I remember being the girl who wore a lot of masks, and I said that when I was talking about the Boundary podcast, and I said, I've worn a lot of masks. I've been that chameleon. I've been different things to different people. I haven't always been who I needed to be because I was scared. And I didn't know how I could be or who I could be around certain people. Again, because I was scared. Or maybe you feel like you just got to fit in, right? Let me tell you, you are not born to fit in. Darling queen. you were most definitely born to stand out. And people might not get it. When you get to this level of mastery, it's a very strange place. It's a beautiful place, I'll be honest, because it's a place full of peace and love, and it only exists within you. And I can honestly say, being here will bring you joy on every level. And it's a joy that you are creating consciously, with every decision you make, with every thought, with every word, with every action. I woke up today and I chose to be myself. And that was wonderful. And if that's the only decision that you make on a daily basis, it's wonderful. I want you to know it's wonderful. I've noticed that now I'm realizing within myself where I've been judging and where I've been discerning. And so I'm leaning more towards being that being who is more discerning and less judging. And how can we become less judging and more discerning? And what's the difference? Judgment is labeling, and it's wrong and right, and it's good and bad. Discernment is, I'm not attracted to that. That doesn't vibrate on my frequency. That's not for me. I'm not drawn towards that energy. You know, judgment is labeling, it's wrong, it can be quite nasty. I've been that person. I'm not proud of that person. But I still don't have the guilt from being that person, because I understand that we're all human and that we're all making mistakes. So I want you to know if that you have been that person, or you are being that person, or you are judging, because this is like something I've been really working on over the past few days, and you might have been seeing it pop up on my social media, especially on my Instagram. That we tend to judge because we're not connected enough to our truest, highest selves. And we want to be separated from others, when actually to be defined is to be more connected. To understand that other human is as a child of God, like as if you were a child of God. And that there really is no separation. So when we love from a place of, I'm going to love you and I'm not going to judge you, but I might have to discern the things that you do or you say, and I might have to discern some of the things that you act or how you act, and I might not want to bring my energy into your space, and I might not want to allow your energy to come into my space. I'm going to maybe have to love you from a distance. But that doesn't mean I don't love you, right? And this is probably going to be working towards the people that maybe you have relationships with, that you are your family members, right? And maybe you need to have these open, honest conversations about, again, what's okay and what's not okay for you. You know, there's certain people I know, I can't come into my house, you can't smoke in my house. That's not because I don't love you. I don't want, I just don't want that energy around me, because that's not what I do. That's not who I am. I don't appreciate it. I don't want it. People know that now. Kind of like it's a thing. Don't cross that line with me. But there's other things, that we allow we tolerate because we feel we have to. So where can you use your voice? Where can you have a conversation that's going to make it a powerful conversation? Powerful for you and powerful for them. Because, when we're open and honest about how we feel and what we like and what we dislike, It opens up the relationship to go into a different place, a higher place even. Or it might be that that relationship just isn't for you because that person is just not really willing to listen and engage with you appropriately, that is respectful of your opinion and your view. Yeah. That is the level of discernment. That's where the third eye actually comes into this and is really necessary. I've made a conscious decision, a conscious decision that I make every single day. I choose to walk this life with love and gratitude. That means in everything I say and do that I'm walking with love and gratitude, but more importantly, for the love I have for myself has to come first, right? I'm not going to be that people pleaser, and I'm not going to go out of my way to accommodate. I'm going to give, I'm going to love. Like I say, my love is free, my time costs. Yeah, you know, you've got to be real with that, and you've got to know where your being is being depleted and where you're giving, and you know, where you need to be appreciated, where you need to be acknowledged. It's a journey, people, and I want you to embrace it wholeheartedly as a journey and not as some kind of marathon. It's not a marathon, believe it or not. I mean, it's not a race. It is a marathon. It's a slow, steady pace through life. This is going to give you a longer life. I don't know about you, but me, I kind of want to live as long as I can live, because I know I really want to experience as much of this life as I can. And maybe I'm only going to really do that if I really take my time. Like, I'm a big traveller. I've always really enjoyed travelling, and I've always really expanded my consciousness through travel, and I really want to give Tristan some amazing opportunities to explore this wonderful world. And so that's why I kind of keep myself fit and healthy, and, you know, so that I'm able to do all these amazing things, push myself to some limits, really show up and be extraordinary. And I think we all really desire that. I think deep down we desire so much, but we just don't put the right energy and the right intentions into our desires, and therefore we really don't get them. We're not really getting them into a place of the vibration that's required for us to manifest the things into our life that we need to manifest. I think we all have good intentions in many ways, but I think we need to show up bigger in order to achieve, if that's what you desire, of course. You know, some people are very content with what they've got, and that's it, and that's brilliant, and I love those sort of people too. It all depends on how you want to play this game. You know, life is a game. It is one big game, and you know, you want to play to win with no harm to others, 100%. You know, I don't believe we should be out here intentionally harming people to get what we want in life. But at the same time, you know, we have choice. We all have free will. And I think when we're more consciously aware of what we're doing and what we're saying and how we're acting, we're able to make our lives go in a completely different direction. And that's been a story for me since I started this journey, really, about 3 years ago. That it's been an everyday thing. It's a commitment to do this every day. No days off. I'm alive every single day, so there's no days off where I'm going to be, today doesn't matter. Every day matters. Every day is beautiful. Every day you have a possibility to create and be who you are. So one of my favourite quotes, and I kind of love Dr. Seuss. I don't know if I have any Dr. Seuss fans listening. But this is one of my favourite Dr. Seuss. So there is no one alive who is youer than you. Right. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. So I'm really thinking about authenticity on that level. There is only one you. There may be people out there in the world who are similar to you, but maybe have similar ideologies and philosophies and beliefs. But you are you. You are you. You are so unique and you are wonderful. And you need to know that. If no one told you, I'm telling you, you're awesome. Go and be awesome. Have those conversations. Actively listen. Be willing to hear. You know, this is a great way of balancing out your throat in so many ways. Like I sit with Tristan at the end of the day and we have a conversation and it kind of goes like, so how was your day? What did you learn? What excites you? How do you feel? What are you grateful for today? Yeah, what should we do tomorrow? Awesome. Do you want to watch a movie? Should we read a book? But you know, just sometimes that time to really listen and hear someone else's thoughts and hear what's going on in their life and giving them an opportunity to share. Sometimes we like to talk, but we rarely like to listen. And so part of what I do is listen. And I learnt that listening gets me more than talking does. I find that when I'm doing this work, when I'm podcasting, that great opportunity for me to have my voice and say what I need to say. I definitely felt over the past 12 days of sharing that I was like, oh, I think I've talked too much, that I've got into that space of just talk. And so I need to just go somewhere and hear and listen and maybe be silent and not say a thing. So this is where reading helps me and listening to other podcasts helps me develop and balance out my throat chakra, because if I'm always talking and I'm not listening and I'm not hearing as to what's going on around me, I'm not really learning. So actively listen, have a conversation where you're not talking, that you're just letting someone speak, and really don't even respond, just listen. You don't have to respond, you don't even have to give any feedback whatsoever, but that will be powerful. That will be a great opportunity for you to balance out that necessary throat. And it's like the throat tends to cause a lot of problems in that chakra, if it's imbalanced, including thyroid problems and gum problems and teeth problems and anything to do with the neck area or around the neck area, any kind of tension in the neck area or any kind of growth or any type of thing, anything to do with the neck, around the neck. Jaws, even when your jaw I used to have a terribly clicky jaw, massively clicky. Doesn't do it anymore. And I used to grind my teeth when I slept because I didn't know how to be myself. I was holding in so much over the years where I've just hadn't been able to have an opportunity to talk and use my voice. But also as a young girl, the story that I told myself was my voice is not important. because I wasn't given an opportunity to talk or speak, because my mum never facilitated or held a space for me to talk and express myself. So this is where, as parents, it's something I feel very strongly about, is that we must listen to our children more than we talk to them. Or we should definitely have a balance in that area, right? From my own experience and from my experience as being a mother, we need to talk to them, listen to them, love them, appreciate them. Yeah, it matters. It really makes all the difference. It will make the difference to your life. But also have the conversations with, not just with your children, but have the conversations with people where you're being a little bit vulnerable too. I know it can be like, I tell you what, I know it can be scary to be vulnerable. I get it. And I know there's certain people that you really can't be vulnerable around because you're worried and what they'll say and what they won't say, or who they'll tell, they'll share that story with. So we do have to be careful about who we share our shame stories to, is it? As Brené Brown would say. Power, though. So much power in being vulnerable, and something that I really didn't understand until I started to share my stories. So please be authentic wherever you can be, with the people that you can be, with the people that matter to you. I think this promotes healing within all of us. And so thank you. I appreciate you for being here and listening and letting me share my stories. And of course, I'd love to be able to hear your stories. I get that sometimes it's easier to tell a complete and utter stranger your story than it is to maybe tell someone else. So you've got my email. info@queenofmylife.london. I would love to hear your stories, even if it means just me listening and reading and hearing. If it helps you get it out of you and out into the world, I promise not to judge or shame any part of your story. And of course you can connect with me on my Instagram, and I'd love to be able to connect with you there. It's queenofmylife.london. And if you're interested in working with me, of course, I'd love to be able to work with you. I really am excited for all the work that's coming up this year in 2018, because I've just been pushing it because I really want to work with more women. And the more women I work with, the more I see the difference in them, the more of an impact that I know that they are making in the world by showing up and being authentic. And it's a rippling domino effect. When one woman awakens, she awakens another woman, who awakens another woman, who awakens another woman. And I think the women rising and the feminist movement is a beautiful thing, because it's not anti-man, and maybe some people think it is. It's just not. It's about rising the women and rising the consciousness of the divine feminine, and really maybe bringing some equality into the world so that masculine and feminine energies can coexist, and that we could have more peace on this planet, so we can evolve, so we don't have to live under any kind of tyrannic rule or patriarchy anymore. That is the intention of my heart. That is the desire that I long for the most. And I actually really love the idea of helping the young men of this world too. Something that it's been playing on my heart, and I don't know how I'm going to contribute or what I'm going to do. But I know I want to do it. So the universe will make it so, right? Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And I'm quite happy to say Sounds so bad, but honestly, after all this podcasting I've been doing since Christmas, it's going to be actually a wonderful thing for me to have some time off, not to worry about podcasting. So it's going to be Tuesday. Every Tuesday on the podcast, you can expect a new podcast from me. And so until next Tuesday, awesome. Have a wonderful week. Stay in those high vibes. Stay blessed. Stay positive. Be your truest self always. Until next time. Thank you.